Muscle and fitness. Hey, a very good early morning, late evening. It is I, the Warrior Junior, the one, the WJ, the guy who tells it like it is. I mean, I don't know. Everybody tells it like it is nowadays, so it's not really that big of a deal. Um, all right, so let me get my tea here. This is a chai spice with no special ingredient, tonight. Sometimes after I get rid of it, if you know what I mean, I don't need the don't need the special ingredients. It's you don't need it all the time. It's like you want to like pattern the good stuff. Like use, not abuse. Remember like what superstar Billy Graham said. He didn't use steroids. He abused steroids. I'm not condoning the use of anabolic steroids. I'm just quoting what he said. 24-inch arms. He was like the first guy. I think Hulk Hogan, when he was a kid, his dad took him to a wrestling match and saw superstar Billy Graham. He got on the rope, and did that double bicep pose like Big Papa Pump used to do. And Hulk Hogan went like he pointed. So I want to look like that guy right there. He knew. He knew. You know, was Hulk Hogan? He shrank a couple inches, because of his back and everything, but he got older. But was he 6'7", billed at 6'8", so somewhere around there, 6'6"? It doesn't matter, up there. He would have been anyway, even without, like if, with a very good bulking diet, even without the steroids. He still would be like 250, 260, maybe 275, maybe. I don't know. When it was like it showed us when he premiered, Madison Square Garden. He was like they built him at 318, maybe a little more. You know, I knew this bodybuilder, Big Craig, security guy at Dublin's. And you're a nice guy, like I used to joke around. I used to joke like I'm really small. I go, "You're pretty big, but I'm the biggest one around." As a joke. This guy's 300 pounds, man. What are you fucking? It's just fun, It's fun, delusional in my mind, trying to get big. But I remember one time, because I literally used to live down the block from there. So I remember like one time, like I got pumped up, like I did push-ups like a couple hundred before I went up there. I had this like form-fitting shirt. I was in there, and he went like this. He gave me one of these looks like this. He looked, he went, and he goes, Michael. He goes, "What are you on?" Like because I was really cut. I mean, now I probably was, geez, I might have been even under 150 pounds. But if you're solid muscle, at 5'9", I know it doesn't sound like nothing. It sounds like baby weight, but if you are solid muscle, even at that weight, um, you're not gonna look big, but you're gonna look fit as fuck. And fit as fuck can make you look a lot bigger than you are because the muscle shapes, all defined. It's like a V taper. Not many people look like that. So the weight is arbitrary. I know, the weight has its place, but listen, man, I've seen guys, don't even work out. Whatever. Let's say they're 5'10", whatever, 200 pounds, right? They got some mass there, maybe more, maybe a little over 200 pounds. Got some mass. But if you put a fucking guy that's 150 pounds, even a little bit less, that's solid muscle, right in front of that fucking guy. I'm telling you, the guy like would look like he doesn't exist. That's the difference between like muscle and just fat. You know, it's night and day. It's night and fucking day. I'm telling you. You know, I know that people because I you know look, it's very easy to you know if you're working out all the time. Oh, I stand on the scale, the weight. Oh, you know, the weights fluctuate. I say let the mirror be the judge. You know, the mirror. Now, with me, you know, I do you know give a lot of credit. You know, the scale means a lot because I'm if you're just going for you know density, you know, like and you're doing all these exercises like I do, then that number on that scale is a big deal because for me, and my friend makes fun. He makes fun of me all the time. He says 200 pounds is baby weight. He loves that. But I mean, respect to my old chum Pete. You know, he's not a bodybuilder, and he really does not know what he's talking about with respect to, um, you know, physique. You know what it is. I mean, Lee Priest is like, you know, I remember seeing pictures of him. I did shows the Olympia 5'2" was it 5'1", 5'2", 199 pounds, and you know it's a walking behemoth. You know, it's a 5'1" behemoth, fire hydrant. You know, it's forget about it. You know, this guy standing there. I think you know just because he's just unfortunately blessed with being vertically challenged, but you know, at that height still, he was finished number 5 Olympia, number 6, best in the world. Standing there with like Ronnie Coleman and Jay Cutler. There he is, holding his own, you know, at under 200 pounds, at 5'2". Yeah, well, the guy can bulk up to 300 pounds in the off season. So, you know, the topic of this is big. When is big? Big is not. It's not. You know, so look, you know, you could take was it Undertaker? He's 7 foot, you know, 6'10", whatever, 300 pounds maybe. You know, it looked like you know, he's about that same, a little bit bigger, you know, when he was younger maybe or whatever. But you know, 300 pounds is 300 pounds. I don't care if you're 5 feet, 6 feet, or 7 feet. It's still 300 fucking pounds. You know, it's big. It doesn't matter, you know, if you're 7'2" or 5'2". It's 300 fucking pounds. You know. Now, I competed at the Fit Expo. They had a dance event, the dance American Street Dance Championships. Like I mentioned, I have many years involved in freestyle, what they call breakdance, but you know, I'm known for popping, locking, boogaloo funk styles. You know, not b-boying, not breakdancing really, but it's you know, I'm sort of well known. Like I'm in an odd age group. You know, old school. Like see, I don't go back, even though I was around in the '80s, but I don't not real OG as far as that. But you know, into the '90s, I had a passion for it, so I kind of came up in the early mid '90s with competitions. So you know, I'm known by some, you know, and then the new generation, not really, because they're a new generation. But I've been to Radiotron events, you know, lots of How the West Was Won, funk style sessions. I competed in various things. Never really took it over the top. I already mentioned the television shows I was on. And, you know, I did other things with my life. I mean, I did, I put a lot of time, believe it, you know, over my 48 years, I devoted many years in dance, you know, like, so it's like I could go to a club and it's like, you know, the flow, you know, the good music I can get down, you know, like and feel like, whoa, you know, but it's a big difference between going to a club and maybe doing a little something, depending on the crowd, you know, and the scene that you're in, and then doing like a major competition. It depends, you know, it just depends, you know. I try to get on World of Dance, but you know, basically boxed out of that, you know, kind of for being too old, and they never really told me that. They just do it nicely, or they just don't. They just don't give you the chance. So be it. Oh, Jedi. Job of the Hutt line, 83. Um, so where was I going? Jabba the Hutt, well over 300 pounds. Um, so I was talking. Oh, so the Jay Cutler thing, and ironically, Jay Cutler is not only my age, but we're born, I think, a day apart. Day apart the same year, so a very day or two max. So it's funny, that and so I was walking around the Fit Expo, and I had this real good form fitting shirt on, and I have logs that you know. It's like, oh, how big was I? What did I weigh back then? What kind of weights was I lifting? What was I doing? So I could look it up, but I think I was around. It might have been 175, 180, not much more than that. Because I had my training logs go back to, even though I was working out started technically in the late 80s. I didn't start writing anything down till about '03. And then there's some years in between that I didn't write anything down. So, and I didn't work out at all. So, I kind of started, stopped. I mean, but one year, I think it was around that time, I went to the gym over 400 times a year. And, I got to a certain point, but no bigger because I wasn't, my nutrition wasn't, I didn't understand the importance of eating frequently. I didn't get it. I thought, well, you just work out, you get big. Yeah, well, but your body levels off because you're not putting in optimal nutrition, not taking the right supplements, and of course, pharmacology plays its role. But I never took any anabolics. I never took. I know of all of them because I research and I'm curious, and I fan of bodybuilding. I was curious how these guys get to be like this. So I learned about all these things, and I never did any of them. None of them. Over the counter is one thing, but that's it. That's it. That's the extent of. It's like, oh, there's stuff that's like one molecule away, but that one molecule is everything. It's like so. Um, but I worked my ass off. I mean, as hard as you could possibly go, just about. I mean, I just was a fucking beast, for my size, not being like, 5'9", if that, and I worked the shit out of big areas, my back. I set after set, 100-pound rows each arm, It doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're not that strong and not that big, you're working your ass off. I'm talking about, you see the sweat drip drops, going on the fucking floor, like nobody in my gym works out as hard as me. There's nobody. Not to belittle anybody, but you know, I took this shit seriously. My advanced knowledge and years was able to give me intensity. Now I draw back sometimes and I can go hard in different ways without. It's not about, you gotta. It's a fine line. It's a fine line. It's not about seeing how much you can lift every fucking time. Dude, I'll tell you, I'll put fucking 25 pounds on each side on the hack squat machine. And I'll go to work. That's it. 25 pounds on each side. That's it. I want those reps, man. I want to get in there deep into that whole quadricep area. And that takes like certain types of like just continually grinding. I got too much weight on there. I can't do enough reps to grind out. And I know it looks like nothing, but I'll tell you, like when I fucking put on my jeans, remember I have pairs of jeans, it's like holy shit, it fills it my whole fucking, I fill it out. I can fill them out, like between my ass and my fucking, my quads, my hands, or whatever. It fills out top part. So what I'm doing is fucking working, you know, literally and figuratively. I came up. We have this unique machine that nobody uses in the gym, and I mean nobody except me. Nobody. It's a multi-purpose device. It's shaped like a U, and it's like orange. And I use that shit for leg press, and it only goes up to kind of a certain weight. It doesn't really tell you. It's like on a scale of 1 to 5. But I'll sit there and I will press out, try to hit like 50 reps on that thing, and then I'll do one leg at a time, where I put one knee on the ground and I kick back. So it's like a hamstring work where you feel like, the back of your legs, like working, I'm pushing back. It's like this smooth, and I'll do one leg at a time, and I'll do like 30, 40, 50 reps, for each leg, take a break, and I'll do it one more time. And I mean, I could, I don't want to pull down my sweats, and show you the results, because, I don't, I'm wearing just under. I just don't like. I'm not a show off in that regards. I don't. I feel it's kind of like gay. I mean, I guess like you're showing off. You're kind of just wearing underwear. That's not what I'm there. If you look, go back and look at my thumbnail from a couple episodes ago. You'll see me without my shirt on. I'm not even pumped up, not even flexing or anything. And it's very important to take into consideration that when you see like somebody, like it says, oh, I don't look that big. Nobody looks fucking big. I've seen pictures of Ryback, not pictures, video. He's just sitting there behind a desk in his house, whatever, doing a podcast, and he's just talking away. Money, the guy's like 300 pounds, okay, or damn near close. He could be bigger. You don't look that big sitting down. It's two dimensions. You can't see any depth. You fucking stand next to that guy, you'll see all fucking 300 pounds of him. So, it was like the same thing with Gilbert. It's like people laugh when he goes to the ring. It's like, Gilbert, look at this twerp coming out there. Yeah, he made a good. Now, the guy, Gilbert, now I think Gilbert is 6'1", 205, maybe 212, maybe somewhere, not that. But, he don't look like nothing, because you're comparing him to Bill Goldberg. That's why. Goldberg is like what, 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", somewhere in that range. 280. It's huge. You fucking. I walked by me at the Manhattan Hilton with my friend Pete. I remember it was a WrestleMania 20, and he goes through the back entrance. He's got an entourage of security guards around him, and I'm standing there. I don't think my friend Pete. Was off maybe 15 feet away from me or something like that. And I'm standing there, and I think he said, Mike, Goldberg's coming. And I'm standing there, and I see, like, I kind of, like, I don't know. Look, I was a lot younger. I remember, like, I had to, I was trying to get big, at that time. I was like 166 pounds. But bodybuilding knowledge and pretty cut, it's really cut. So I remember, like, I knew how to pump up pretty well. So, some of the pictures, I have pictures that my friend Pete took, and I'm like, and I'm not, it wasn't pumped up. You can't really see. That's the thing. Can't really tell. But I have some pictures, and I said, all right, let me pump up a little bit before I get some pictures with some of these people. And I have a picture with me and Nydia. She was in the WWE. She was Puerto Rican. I thought she was pretty. My type, And I'm standing there like with this polo shirt, and I'm pretty jacked. I look definitely a lot bigger than 166 pounds. But anyway, this entourage is coming, and I'm like, standing there like, kind of just part of this group thing, and everybody's kind of, I say, okay, move out of the way, and I don't know where to go. I'm just kind of standing there, and this behemoth guy, like, he's walking in the security, everything but the music, but that Romanesque, Roman, the fireworks, the sparklers, and no chance. And this guy, like, the next thing I know, I kind of turn around, and this guy, oh my God, I have to look up, it's like 6'4", 6'5", and I remember, like, that's all I see is a hand like this, and it came on me on the shoulder, like, boom, like this, like it was a boom like this, and he kept going, and I was like, that dude, he fucking just boom, like to give me, that's like a sign of, to me, that's a sign of respect. Like, you're a twerp, but like you're trying, like you're working out, like I give you respect, kind of. I love that. I love it. I'm not trying to size myself. How can you size yourself up to this, something like this? That guy is like, and he knows how to pump up. He's like 280. It could be more, it could be a little less, but you've seen that guy when he pumps up and he gets on that rope. Ah, like that, the traps, the separation. Ah, you're next. What he said to Bobby Lashley? He goes, I'm next. Like, it's funny. It's good. It's good. See, I'm getting excited. So, you know, um, you know. So I remember at that Fit Expo also, maybe it was a year, could have been that year, maybe a different year. I saw Bobby Lashley there. He was busy. He was on the phone. He was at a desk at a promotion for one of them, and there was nobody, like, nobody really knew who he was. I knew who he was, and I waited till he got off the phone. And the second he got off the phone, he looks at me, and I go, "The champ is here." And he looks at me, and goes, "Where?" And like immediately, I kind of, like, I felt like damn, like I'm nothing. And it really kind of, like, I was hoping you would go, like, yeah. But another guy did that too, like at Frankensons, this guy that deals in wrestling cards. I showed up, and I go, "The champ is here," and he looks at me, and goes, "Where?" Where? It sucks, like it's a dream, the dream to be, but you're asking for something that's uh, not practical. You're now, have impossible things been accomplished? Yes. I mean, is something possible? Yes. Is it nearly impossible? Yes. Like, you got to understand something. There was a guy, I think his name was Ed Connors, not Chuck Connors, actually Ed Connors. He was involved. He co-wrote, like, Gold's Gym Guide to Bodybuilding. He's an older guy, and he's like a scout for WWE. And I reached out to this guy a couple years back, and I said, I opened my heart. I go, my name is so and so, and I grew up with this. And I feel like there's something here. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, and sometimes it's like, look, man, there's a million different characters that they brought in that didn't wrestle. Like McMahon said, it's a variety show. Like Brother Love, there's this Harvey Whippleman. There's so many things that at the time this, and they went with this, and then that guy looks like this, and that could have been this, and who knows. And he just said, he asked me, he goes, how big are you? And I go, well, I'm like, bodybuilder, but I'm like 175. He goes, wait, how tall are you? And I go, well, I'm five. And the second five came out of my mouth, he goes, no, 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 you're not 6'1". I can't talk to you. And I go, what about? He goes, 6'1" or more. It was over. Like, the discussion was over. Like, he basically just, he didn't want to hear. It didn't matter. It didn't matter, like, what passion, what I would. He didn't care. It didn't fucking matter to him. And it kind of, like, just, it didn't crush me, but it's like, I go, you guys, need to understand. I know I'm telling them how to run a business, but no, if okay, look, if it was my company and I was the owner, the Vince McMahon, right? And I don't have time to look at everything. That's not that I got a show to run. I got everything. But you don't. He knows. He knows things go through phases, and he doesn't look. He can't look way too far in advance. But it's still, you keep things on the back burner. You put it in a file somewhere. You put this. Let me see here, because maybe 3-4 years from now, if this changes, I need to know. I mean, I could contact you. He's really passionate about this. I mean, I could use somebody like this. I know Rocky's a movie. Remember, they opened up that book, Apollo, and he was in that book. If you're not in that book, they're not going to find you. And it's like that Connors guy. He wouldn't put me in that book, like just to take a look at. He's no idea what you're. I mean, you got to have an open mind. And apparently, like Daniel Bryan, or the guy's real name, Brian Danielson or whatever, he was in that book. And I don't like that. Yes, yeah, I don't like that. I think that was stupid. The whole thing, and that beard and whole thing. But it doesn't matter. You're in zero position to. I mean, well, you're actually in every position because you can just quit. But you're talking about something that it's like once in a lifetime. It's like Eugene, the whole thing. Nick Dinsmore is like a real wrestler. Like he's not you know what I mean. Like he's talented, knows everything, and you know somehow it's just okay. Well, we can make this out to be this guy to be a dupe. Like a stupid. Like a well, you can't make him out to be an imbecile because then see you got to understand that you know you have to be careful when insulting. You can't really insult a target group of people like if they're disabled. Like you can't do it. It's not in good taste. I don't know if it's illegal. It's just you can go so far with certain guys. Like he's not even of Arabic descent or whatever. He came out with Davari. Built guy, and then Hulk Hogan, was it the thing in WrestleMania? Because here it is, here I am at the biggest event of the year. I've never been pinned in my career. He's pissed off at, and I got to take a back seat to an idiot like you. It was Eugene. Yeah, I remember it was WrestleMania. I got his card. Now he's like a assistant, like principal, school principal. Go figure. But the thing is, it was out of his hands. Like they whatever. It was too. I guess like I don't know, but they raised too much heat, or something. And I guess what they want, the WWE said, wait a second, we got to be careful here because you know we want that audience over there overseas. We want them. We want their money, and if we make them out to be idiots, like whatever, then we're not going to have. And that's why they found that like Jinder Mahal, they made him WWE. This is all clever psychological tactics. They have a crown jewel event, once a year they go over there or something like that. So you have to understand the business, the idea behind the the global marketing of World Wrestling Entertainment. It wasn't like that at all. It is now because yes, how money is generated. Like you sell hats, you sell, propaganda, you sell paraphernalia, you sell promo, whatever, shirts, hats, whatever the promotion, the thing. It's a business. It's like the whole thing in the 80s. It was Hulkamania, it was Hulk Hogan. Everybody, shirts, posters, whatever, the Hulk rules, the wristbands, headbands. This is how money is. That's what they did with John Cena. Up until a couple of years ago. It's it's not about it's about him, but it's not really about him. It's about generating as much money off of him as you can make. Even that guy, that Ron Simmons, that shirt, damn. You come out for a second, you just goes damn, and people buy this shirt with this damn on it. Cost 15, $20. So that's your whatever if you can make money, I guess, like if you can make money for a company, and when I mean money, you can make money, then you know they have use for you. That's what it is. I just, a lot of it I don't understand. There was so many good. What I think it is like these people, they get like a short contract, start off with like Chris Masters or Mr. Kennedy, Kennedy. And what happens is, you get like good, decent money for that short time. And then once that contract's expired, then they sit down and they're like, then it's hard because then like WWE, they know they got to dig deep. They got to, because this guy's on television, he's got a name, they got to pay you now. They got to pay you. And I think they just like, well, you know what? We just don't, we can only pay the big money rises to the top, like, and they have people that they can afford just to, I guess it's like in baseball, it's the same thing. Like on a team, you got your superstars, you got your roster, and then you've got your, superstars, and then you got all the people on the bench, but you know, they need those people around, but they need those people that they can that they're very cheap. Now, unlike baseball, there's a minimum salaries. I forget what it is. It's like 375,000 a year. It's high. Whatever it is, and almost nobody gets that. Because negotiations, they all get like a million a year at least. It's a big deal, but wrestling is not baseball. It's sports entertainment. So, I don't know who negotiates these contracts. Kurt Angle talked about this. He said he had somebody look over his contracts for him before he signed and negotiated anything. Um, but he, he's a top. He was a top superstar. I have no idea why. Like he went over to like Impact Wrestling. I have no idea. Maybe because the offer that he got, he felt like, no, like it's like, let's say hypothetically, um, he signed. I remember he talked about the potential offer, um, right after the Olympics in '96 that he turned down. It was like a 10-year deal, like for like a million a year or half a million a year. It was a 10-year guaranteed deal, and he said, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait because I think I'm gonna get endorsements from the Olympics, from winning the gold medal in wrestling. And the phone didn't ring. He was very surprised. So he calls back to WWF at the time, and he goes, "Is that what about that offer for the 10 years?" And they go, "Oh, no, 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 no. You should have took it when we offered it to you." So they played hardball with him, and they said, "What we give you is a developmental contract now," which is basically nothing. Just to see like him, if he'd work, and if he works, then we'll talk. And he hit like, it was just perfect timing, a perfect, he's just a great a very interesting, rare combination of arrogance, kind of dumb, but like he was a first Olympic gold medalist. I mean, it was just a rare. He's like charismatic, kind of looking too. You know, like this way the guy looks, and he's a decent size. Like not huge. He's like 6'1", 220, 225, whatever. That thick neck. Like a fucking. And he could. And the thing is, he could talk. He could shit talk. It was really important. Like, and he just like just a very good timing, like to work his way in, at that time. So what happened was they gave him like I don't know what it was. It was like I think they gave him like a 5-year deal or something, or maybe 10. I don't know. But what happened was once that expired, I know they offered him something to keep going, but it wasn't in excess of what he was like. In baseball, the way it works, or any sport, they look at your numbers at the end of the year. That's all it is, and then they go, okay, and then, the big numbers, and it's like, you know, the offer is going to be contingent based on how good of a player you are. And that Shohei Ohtani guy, my God, they're going to have to fucking pay that guy. Who the hell knows what? I'm going to look him up on the database soon. I'm going to see what the hell they pay that guy. But that's what it is. And age, there's other factors, but it's like rootability. It's not like really fan participating, base. So it doesn't matter. Like it's not. I mean, there is something for like the player being part of the team and that, but that's not really the judging criteria of how much you make. It's based on performance. So in wrestling, he was such. I mean, let's say they gave the guy like 500,000 a year for 10 years. Maybe let's say they gave him that. So over a decade, that's $5 million minus taxes, minus whatever. So now the 10 years is up, and he's still as popular as hell. And he's like, they probably came at him with something like, okay, we'll give you like, you want to do another 10 years? We'll give you $6 million. We'll give you 600,000. And he goes like, huh? No, you fucking kidding me? Like, I'm like one of the most popular. When I walk down that ramp, the entire arena goes, you suck, you suck, you suck, you suck, you suck, you suck. He puts his hand on the fireworks spot. He's an important, integral part of one of the most important heels. The whole thing, and that's all you're going to give him is basically a little more than the guy's used to receiving after 10 years of service. I guarantee you that was the offer. I guarantee you. So he probably got offered, because you see, what's your options? If you can't negotiate, okay, well then what about like 3 years at like 750? And they go, no, it won't give whatever. We'll give you, you want 3 years, it's like 550 or whatever. That's still a sizable amount of money, but you're not getting the you're looking at it from a perspective of a lot of money, but you're not Kurt Angle. You don't understand the power of celebrity. You're talking about like somebody that's already proven, like they're not like trying to get in. It's like I said, it's like somebody in baseball, like that Ohtani guy. Can you imagine? Let's say they gave let's say they gave that guy, like, before he went crazy last year and he hit all those home runs and struggled. Let's say they gave him like $3 million. The guy's the only pitcher, like baseball. He's the only home run pitcher and hitter since like Babe Ruth to accomplish what he's. It's unfathomable. You have no idea what that guy accomplished. It's unheard of. So it'd be like, okay, well, we'll give you. When we give you $3 million, we'll give you like 3.5 for this year. I mean, it'll be a joke. I mean, he could go somewhere else. You know, they would give him 12 million, maybe 15, maybe more, maybe a lot more. Do you understand the exponential amount of money in baseball? Like the exponential. It's not like, there's guys that sign $300 million contract more in baseball, 300 million. Okay. Maybe more. I don't know. You know, and it's not crazy exaggeration what I'm talking here. So I guarantee you, what happened was it's something along those lines where they're like, well, and the reason that WWE they can't give him, astronomical money is because what's going to happen is he's going to be like he's going to go tell like the Undertaker, but he's yeah, I got it. And they're like, then they're all going to want crazy money, and it doesn't work. Those guys got to be held down. They got to be anchored to where you give them like really good money, but you can't give them crazy money because then everybody wants it. There's nobody that gets crazy money. There's nobody. There's nobody. I think now the top of the top, and I'll do it in order. The most money probably ever paid out was a Stone Cold. It had to be. It had to be because Stone Cold was like he's the franchise. He's in the franchise. What? What? Let me tell you something. I don't care. It is my ring. It's in my ring. It's the only thing that I say, and that's the bottom line. Cause Stone Cold said so. The Hicks. You don't understand. It's like he's the absolute perfect thing for that middle America, those idiots, he's like, what? Those Texas, those idiots, the shit ticker, they love that guy. What? McMahon knows he's not stupid. So I guarantee you, like Stone Cold probably got between 2 and 3 million, the most, whatever. Now, I guess there's special money for like WrestleMania because it's such a big event, like but I'm saying broken down, into like, Stone Cold probably the most. Next up was probably The Undertaker because of his longevity, his time, and everything like that. Probably close to something along those lines. A lot of money like that, 2 to 3. Um, Now I don't know. There's nobody else that in that league of those guys. It doesn't matter. Like the WWE champion. Like I guarantee you they probably I'm trying to think. Like now we're talking about. I was talking mid to late '90s up till into the 2000s, into early 2000s. But of course, like The Rock, definitely. Um, way up there as well. And probably, maybe he got a little bit more money because as time, progresses, the value of the money's gone down. So it's like maybe now, let's say Bobby Lashley, maybe he's getting like, somewhere along that kind of money. But the only reason Bobby Lashley has the belt, the only reason Bobby Lashley is being pushed is because of the BLM movement. It's the only reason why. That's Sasha Banks. I don't even watch it. It's not because I don't like them per se. I just don't like the direction that WWE has taken over the past 10 years. Haven't contributed by watching. Um, it's definitely changed. It's definitely changed, and I think it's ridiculous. I don't even know who Becky Lynch was. The man. That was Ric Flair saying to be the man, and he got pissed because it's like, that's my fucking thing. The guy who was pissed off, and that's why they didn't say to be the man. They just said the man because any closer, he would have probably filed a lawsuit against it. But he was in. I think he owed the IRS something like 800 grand or 900 grand or something like that. And you know, I if he owed that money from accumulating all of his, that's back taxes from all of his years wrestling, and he never paid. He's a fucking moron. Okay, he's a fucking idiot because you know you can't you make big money. You gotta give them. You've got. They are brutal. They will come to your fucking house and they will arrest you. My uncle told me. I think I read something about, my uncle had like a limousine business, and he's very savvy, smart, but he's got kind of an ego, and he doesn't think, like that. And he was making, I don't know how much, but over a span of 3 4 years, somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 million or 8 million or something like that. And he didn't pay. He didn't pay, and they came to his fucking house in New Jersey, and they fucking took him in. Like this is they let him go. Didn't do any real time, but um, I'm trying to illustrate that no, you gotta keep your nose clean. Like if you're making big money like that, and they say you gotta pay, you don't fuck with them. You don't. Um, and I know it's really hard for like actors that make big money and stuff like that. It's like, my God, they're taking 40%, and then my agent takes 10%. That's 50% gone. Well, look, at least you get half of, if it's 2 million or 1.5 million. At least you got 750. It's yours. Like that's still a sizable amount of money. Um, I know they broadcast, oh, look how much, like, and it's very easy to burn through a lot of money very quickly. I know, and I know. I never had it, but my point is that, I'm not. There's a lot of people that are big that never get paid nothing for nothing. They're security guards. They're the size of Brock Lesnar, okay, and they're security guards or whatever. It's nothing. Big is nothing. It's bankability. It's who you are. Like, can we use you for something? There's plenty of people that are big, bigger than Brock Lesnar, stronger than Brock Lesnar, younger than Brock. It does. That's not. You know, see the. He knows this. All these guys know this. The Big Show. He's like. I mean, he seems like just a giant teddy bear, like a nice guy. Like he just he's in the wrong body. Like he could be like a teacher or something. Like he doesn't seem like he's like a beast. Like an angry, wild. He just happens to be 7'2". Like 500 pounds. He's a very very large man. But he seems like just he would be like a truck driver or something. And but in the late 90s or whatever, like they say, hey, let me try to get into this wrestling. Like I'm big, whatever. And he just works because he seems like he's got a very open mind. A lot of people, they just get it. They understand. Okay, this is how this business works. I do what I'm told, and I get paid. And it's better than cleaning truck stops, or I don't know where that came from, but you understand where I'm going at here. Look, it's hard to carve out a niche in life, and I'm talking about anything. There's all these kids. They want to be ultimate fighters. They want to be boxers. They want to be wrestlers. They're all young. They want to make money. Like they understand. They see somebody like John Cena, and they go, yeah, I want to be like that. I wish I could be. And he's a very rare. He says he said this. He goes, I remember I was just mowing lawns. I mean, the guy was like nothing, nothing. He came out here from West Newbury, Massachusetts. And was working at Gold's Gym. Like just 5 in the morning. Whatever. And it's like it was eight. The UPW. In the late 90s. It shows him like he's just in the ring working with people, like flipping up. And you don't think that who's this guy? Where's he gonna go? What's he? He's another one of these jobbers. He's nothing. And when he got that chance, like you could tell McMahon, there was something like they want to make him look really good against Kurt Angle, really know they're going to push this guy, the ruthless aggression thing comes out, and they were like, okay, well, and it was the absolute perfect timing. It wasn't like they're building him to run the company thing, but he was just somebody that, he fit a perfect slot. And what happened was when Brock Lesnar tried to go and play football in the NFL, that really opened the door for him, like to say, okay, well, now let's try. And then there's a whole thing with that military, the Marine movie, the military kind of look, it's something develops if given a chance and you're the right person at the right place at the right time for the right opportunity. And that's like him, that's just, he's a very, very open minded, down to earth. He's not, he's dumb. He's very, he knows, he's very conscious, because I know, I cannot believe I got like, a couple minutes with this guy in front of, like, just him and me talking privately. I mean, before this biggest thing of his life, the WrestleMania, they're gonna give him the belt. They're talking with me privately. Like, who the fuck am I, right? That's how conscious the guy is, because he knows, he looks at me and he says, "This, you got to see the thing about bodybuilders, they know, okay? You don't have to do, they can look at and they can see, like, I don't know what it is in your face or on your body. They can see it. This guy has been grinding away for a very long time, or has put in a shitload of work. Then it's respect. It's not just pushing the dart, pushing the pin. In my case, that doesn't apply because I've never done that. But, listen, it just, there's something like that draws me, like, or drew me to this type of thing at the time, because, as an entertainer, as somebody that wanted to be an entertainer, and I love the bodybuilding, and I mean, it was like, and I could kind of throw, I wasn't, I just don't want to be one of these guys that, that just, like, I wanted to create a niche, a very unique niche of, like, my friend, this guy, Chris, that I know, he's just, he doesn't mean bad for me, but he goes, like, you're too small. You're too small. And in my mind, I get what he's saying, but in my mind, I don't look at it like why I can't because you're too small. I look at it like I said, it's like David versus Goliath story. Do you see? I'm saying why I can. He's saying why I can't. Now, forget about wrestling. Now, I'm talking about in life. I'm talking about in life, anything. So many people are going to tell you why you can't. And you have to figure out why you can. It's never been done before. Well, guess what? You could be the first. Who's the guy, the Bannister, the 4 minute mile? It's never been done. It can't be done. He did it. Roger Bannister ran the mile in under 4 minutes. And then suddenly, like a couple years later, there are like thousands of kids that could do it. But they thought it could never be done. He knew it could be done. Or he was gonna fucking try as hard as, like, well, maybe it couldn't be done, like, but you're willing to fucking grind yourself into the ground trying. And it just bothers me, like, that when somebody's so sure you can't, it's not depressing, I'm just talking about anything, any fucking thing. You can't be, God, when I was a kid, I'm sorry, I wanted to be a baseball player more than anything else. And you have no fucking idea. And I could not really subside with the fact until I had some sort of fair validation. And that minor league contract for one day at that age already, like it was okay though, But the thing was, you gotta understand, at 31, I was dancing on television. I've already danced on, competition shows before. I had too many things going on. I didn't know, like I wanted to do this, I want to do that. I was trying to go in whatever direction, whatever was gonna move me forward. I'd run with, and I was still relatively young. When you're young, you can spread yourself out a little bit and see, okay, well, what is my par excellence? What can I what can I what's practical here? What direction will pull me? And unfortunately, it didn't amount to very much. I mean, I wanted to dance on television. I got it a couple times. I want to be a professional Major League Baseball player. I got a minor league contract for a day. But it's not just that. Like it's the competing at that level. I got to do all those tryouts and be out there with pro ball players that I could hold my own against. But I knew at that age, or I knew it. I knew. I said, I was in shape, but I wasn't in baseball shape anymore. You got to be playing every day, and at 31, it just wasn't practical anymore. I listened to Wayne Dyer last night. He passed away a couple years ago, but he said in the boat, don't focus on the wake. The water is left behind the trail. It doesn't matter. The boat's going forward. That wake, oh, that's what's happened. It's in the past. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. You sit there and you focus on the wake, what's left behind, and then your mind, you're just thinking, oh, that's all I can be. That's all. That's the no. It's not true. It's not true. It's the road ahead. It's the road fucking ahead that matters. I want to get my doctorate degree. I'm 6 classes away. It's going to take me a year and a half. I got to maintain um, focus with it and fucking get it done over the year and a half. That way, I look at it possibly, I could be teaching. I could be a professor, at a community college or university, in my 50s if I wanted. Some of those people make decent money. I'm not, in my mind, I'm not finished yet. I do things. I'm not done. When I went back to school in my mid 30s, I just wanted my associate's degree. I know I've talked about this before, but I started college, God, in 91. And, when I was 35, it kind of bugged me, saying, let's go back and power out this associate's degree. And I got it so quickly. I mean, I remember I had to grind out intermediate algebra, but I did it. I found a way. I found a way to get through these things. I got that paper. So, it's like a couple weeks later, I said, I want to keep going, man. I getting my bachelor's, that I don't even want to tell you how long it took because I couldn't find my route, but I got it. It took me till I was 41. I got that bachelor degree. It opened the door to get a master's. I got that when I was 44. Opened the door to get my educational specialist degree when I was 46. And I thought I was going to hammer out the remainder to get my doctorate, but I went through some difficult educational loopholes. And now I'm kind of like in a degree completion program, which I can see what it takes to do it, and it's very doable if I stay the course for another year and a half. So I think it can be done. And I don't see I don't see anything else I could do that would be better. So the train is going through. We're leaving Union Station, folks. So, I think that's for me, that's the best thing. I mean, I stick with my workouts. You know, I want to get back to where I look like a bodybuilder again. I'm almost one, and that's not the end. I'm going to get to about 200 pounds by the summer, with very diligent work. If everything is spot on with my nutrition, my supplementation, and my training. And it definitely can be done this time. There's no question. So, that's how I look at that. I want to create the best version of myself. Then once I'm done with school, I have some plans to where possibly can, work in education. If not, at least I'm still a doctor. So, you know, you want to move forward. You want to, even at 50 years old, it ain't too late, man. It ain't too late at 50 years old to build a life, to start a business. I mean, you ain't finished yet. Believe me, you can go from absolute nothing at 50 years old with a real determined mindset in the span of like a couple short years, owning your own property and building wealth and believe me, you can go from zero to hero. Um, Maybe not here in LA, but I'm just saying, like, it's you're not all hope is not lost. Listen, I have a friend that doesn't, I mean, I don't want to belittle him, but actually, I know a couple guys, and they're just like up to nowhere. They both these guys have no. Actually, I know three people. Actually, I know more than that. I just, and I don't want to, because I don't want to embarrass them. I don't. But these people have no direction. Like they have no dreams, or they're not willing to. People that even if they're pipe dreams, they shouldn't be embarrassed. Say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna fucking really try to do this. And if it doesn't work, I'm gonna give it up and try to do that. But none of these fucking people, they're either doing schlep rock work that leads nowhere, or they're not doing this. They're not doing anything it takes to make the smallest dream come true, as far as I know. And people that don't share, that don't open up like I do, and do things like this, for the most part, they can accomplish nothing. They're just burning the midnight oil. They're wasting time, is what it is. Now I know burning the midnight oil. If you're applying yourself in something, that's great. But they're and I hate to call them losers. They're not. They just had a bad. They got dealt a bad hand. Um, they applied themselves probably greatly, but unfortunately, they applied themselves, or they went down the wrong road like I did down MacArthur when I was trying to go that down. I just went the wrong way. I was so determined, but I was going the wrong direction. Now, thank God I was able to call my friend John, and he was able to redirect me back to where I initially was, that I was on my way on the right path. I just didn't know it. Believe me, I was 3.5 miles out of the wrong direction. 3.5 miles back, then 2 miles to the right. 9 miles I had to walk to go dancing. 9 fucking miles. So with all that, you could be going just down the wrong road of nowhere with stop, assess, get some advice, and try to make a plan and go the right way. Go if you have to go all the way back to where you can't, well, you can. It could take you a very long time, but you don't want to be really old with nothing. I said this once. I know I'm not the one that created the saying, but the person that you don't own any property, you're poor. You're going to be poor because your rent. You're making somebody else rich. I might not feel like it. Well, I'm only paying 3,000 a month of this. You're one of many. Whoever owns that property is collecting off of you. They own the property with you in it or with you without it, not in it. Now I am in a kind of my circumstance, is like, I mean, I think I've discussed this before. Like I'm in, I'm thinking, like own property. Where I'm in now, this is this people's houses. This is nothing. This is survival. Um, and there's not much I can do till I dig myself out of the hole that I created a couple years ago. And that's all my doing. That's all my own doing. I did it all to myself. I took some very big risks, and they didn't work out. If they would have worked out, it didn't. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. What's the sense of discussing, shit that didn't pan out properly? So it's focus. Like I said, don't focus on the wake. You know what the wake is. It doesn't matter. Focus on the boat going forward, no matter how long it fucking takes. And believe me, the older you get, you can expedite things. You can. A year and a half's a year and a half. I have my doctor degree. I clear up my credit. I've been working on that over the past couple years. I owed like 50,000. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous what I did to myself. But it's almost all gone. Still got a couple other credit cards and a couple other debt collections, little by little, but it's not catastrophic like it was. My phone did not stop ringing when I owed. Oh my God, it just did not stop. It was all day, all day, all day. Then I went after one. Then I caught up to the others, and I paid off one card and paid off the others. And I know it still rings. Believe me, they're still going at me. But you know what? It's manageable now. It's manageable. I'm not like I don't owe. The credit cards that I have active, they're all current, so they don't call me. And then the shit that I do owe back, they can sit, they can wait a while now. That's what happens when you make catastrophic errors. But that's in the wake now. You can climb out of the shithole. It could take a couple years. That's why I gave up the toxic things. I gave up gambling and I gave up drinking. Two things that lead down the wrong road for me. I know they can be fun for some people, but not for me. I'm too compulsive. I don't just go to a bar and drink one beer. I got a lot of energy, man. I can't. I don't get blasted, but I'm a constant drinker. So it's better I just don't. Gambling, I got to play for big fucking money. I can't play just for a little bit. It's like I don't see the point of sitting there. I've done that too, but it always gets bigger and bigger. You call it compulsive. You can call it whatever the fuck you want. I call it like a drive, though, like to try to make, but you want to use that drive to make in legitimate business. And I know, well, it's harder. If it's harder, it's harder. It's harder, it's harder. But you know what? It's better, like, to it's better to have, like, for sure, than this hope, and then you lose. I mean, that feeling of being broke. I mean, it's unfucking believable. It's unbelievably awful. I hate it. I'd rather take all my money and buy the best food I can get. I went to Trader Joe's before they closed. I spent like $30, like on I got like all these pancakes. I got like fucking what I get. But the point is, invest in myself, things that I like. I can afford to eat every 2-3 hours. I can get whatever the fuck I want, anything I want, because I don't gamble and I don't drink. I don't fucking throw money away anymore. I still want to own my own property. I want my condo in Vegas. And I know people say, well, that's not a good place because the gambling stuff. Hey, you're not understanding. That's if you don't know me then. I told you my goal is to own property. So to gamble it, where you're gonna get? How do you know? How do you know? You don't know me. Well, you're gonna be around that environment. So I play my own devil's advocate. You're gonna be around there, and you're gonna want to. Hey, I go to any lounge. You have dancing every night there. Other things to do than throw your money away in games that are rigged for you to lose. And I actually have meetings like every hour. You know, it's just, if it could be done here in LA at a relative price, I mean, you can't. It's not. There's no $150,000 condos in good areas in LA here. There is. You can build a life, you know. It's just, you know, the women there, you know, like they're there to have a good time. See, if you don't know me, you know, like you have to understand, you know, like the way my thinking process is. And you say, I know, they say, well, you know, somebody with a gambling problem, they shouldn't live there. You say, well, you shouldn't. But you know what? If it can move you forward, anything that can move you forward in life could be challenged, you know? I wouldn't go there unless I owned property, okay? That's non-negotiable. I'm not one of those guys. You know, I've gambled away a lot of things in my life, but I don't gamble away like my place where I live. There's people that have done that, not me, or else I wouldn't have a roof over my head now. Remember, the whole idea is to move forward in life. You can change who you are, modify things, whatever. Don't just go along with you know somebody that doesn't know you. You know you better than you. You better than anybody else. If that makes any sense. You know, I got a friend. He talks about moving to like Montana, Wyoming. I don't know what the fuck he's going to do out there, but it doesn't matter. If it's what he likes, it's what he likes. Well, I never. Inside joke. With that being said, that's enough for now. I hope that you actually came away with something. I am going to relax for a little bit. Excuse me. I hope that covered a lot of things. It's pretty good. You know, we talk about life and fitness and, you know, owning property and challenging your beliefs, not looking back in life, if only to learn and to move forward. So please, you know, create the best life you can for yourself while you're here. Why not, right? Why not?